Okay, this is my first attempt at trying to do a video that I hope to become a regular thing. Uh, this is not easy. I don't know if this is gonna come out good on quality, but I have limited energy because of congestive heart failure, which is one of my main problems. And so I'm going to do a record, and it is what it is. If it's not perfect, it's not perfect, but hopefully this will help other people. I just need an outlet. Sorry, I had to adjust that. I just need an outlet because right now writing is very difficult. I have retinopathy, diabetic retinopathy, and it's gotten so bad. I am starting to get injections, but right now I can't hardly see what's on my screen. It's too blurry and too fuzzy. I can't read well. So using a computer is difficult. The phone and my iPad is about the only thing I can do. But I'll just tell you just a little bit about myself in case you're not aware of who I am. Uh, I'm a survivor of child abuse, for one. I've struggled with depression and anxiety. I was abused sexually and molested almost on a daily basis as a kid until I went to college and escaped that living hell. Uh, I was beat. I was emotionally abused. My family pretty much, got mad at me for saying something. I had to basically cut ties with them. I thought I got together with one member of my family, and they just pretty much told me to where I could go, and I told them where they could go. So it's not easy walking away from family, but I had to do it to survive. In 1991, I was paralyzed. I had it from conversion disorder, which is now called functional neurological disorder, I believe. But in those days, it's called conversion disorder, so that's why I always use that term. But I was paralyzed. I had to teach myself how to sit up in bed. I had to teach myself how to stand, how to take a few steps, a few more steps, walk, get my balance. I had to get my memory back. It went. Had to learn how to talk again because I couldn't get a word out more than once every few minutes. I had to learn how to function in life, and it was really a long road back on recovery. I had depression. I had anxiety attacks so bad. I tried to kill myself multiple times. I don't know how I've made it to this point, but with determination and courage, and I'm not one that'll give up. I don't stop until I find a way that works. I'm a very determined individual, but I just kept going, trying to walk forward. I went through nightmares. I went through all the horrors of the memories and the triggers, and oh my land, I remember some of the nights of just screaming in the middle of the night and barely being able to work. I can tell you it was a very long road, and I'll probably share more as time goes, but then I started getting better, and I was able to work a better job. I got a different job, started really working and progressing in my career. I switched career paths, went into computers, and really did a lot. My last computer job, I was a project technical support lead for the whole country in a major computer rollout through AT&T and Cricket. And I did really well, but it was very stressful. And by the time I was done, and I actually had to quit because the contract company I was working through just stressed me out too much. I didn't get enough rest time, and I just had to stop. So I started trying to work more on another book. I got another book written. I tried working on my massage business. I am a licensed massage therapist at this moment, and that wasn't working. It was just hard to get clients. I was spending too much money in an office, and I finally just said stop to that. I focused on my blogging, but I was wore out mentally, physically, and emotionally, and I finally just said it's time to stop. Well, about the time I started back up, physical stuff started to hit me again. I was struggling to sleep at night. I was having what probably was sleep apnea or something similar. I'd wake up in the middle of the night screaming. I couldn't sleep more than a few hours because the anxiety, or what we thought was anxiety, was so bad that the minute I lay down, I just feel like I was drowning. And I had to have all the lights on. The darkness scared me. I couldn't lay flat. I couldn't sleep in bed with my partner, my husband. And some of this is still not easy to talk about. But it was just hell. It was living hell. I started going back to a person in Miami, Dr. Canale, that I've been through multiple times, and he's helped me through a lot. But the sessions weren't doing that much. Things just got worse and worse. I finally started sleeping downstairs on the couch because I couldn't get around very far. I couldn't walk up and down the steps. And I bought a exercise bicycle, thinking maybe if I could exercise a little bit, I could just kind of work some stress out. I could find a way to, feel better. And needless to say, I've been on the thing like 2 minutes. By the time I could finally get on there, I got where I couldn't walk. Or if I couldn't walk far enough to hardly get from the couch to the bathroom. And I was scared. I was like, oh no, here's conversion disorder. I'm going to be paralyzed again. And I know that's all possibility. So I started seeing a therapist. We thought it was anxiety. We thought it was, depression, and started on sertraline. And I was trying to take CBD oil, and that wasn't doing a bit of good. It was a waste. And the sertraline, I think, started to help a little bit. The therapy helped a lot. I have a wonderful therapist, and I love, she means the world to me. There's some special angels in my life, and she's one of them. But it got to the point where I just couldn't get back and forth to the bedroom. I couldn't get around. I couldn't walk. So fortunately, my mother-in-law had a spare wheelchair. I started using that to get around, and it got me to the bathroom. But then trying to get upstairs to take a shower, which is our only shower of the 2-story house, it would take me 30 minutes to get up the stairs, and I would collapse. I mean, I have pictures I posted at times on, I just collapsed, and I'd sit there for 30 minutes, an hour. I couldn't get up. I mean, for me to go upstairs, take a shower, and come back down would take 3 hours. I'd get to the bathtub. I'd try and get in the bathtub. Closing the curtain was a nightmare for me. Even though I kept my husband there, I was just, would have anxiety attacks, and I could have like 5 minutes to take a shower and had to get out, or I would just have an anxiety attack, what I thought was that. The water running felt like I was drowning. I just couldn't hardly do it. And needless to say, there was very few days I was taking a shower. And I hope this is recording. Let me check. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Hang on a minute. Sorry about this. Sorry about that intermission there. You're getting a live raw thing, but so there was a lot of weeks that I barely took a shower. I would take and try and clean myself with a washcloth in the sink, which isn't easy when you can't stand up. I mean, and it was horrible. I mean, to not be able to bathe yourself, I just can't describe how horrible a feeling that is, especially when you're not feeling good. And this went on, and my body was so swollen. I'm going to be a little graphic here so you get the full picture, but my scrotal area was so swollen that it was hard for me to go to the bathroom. It physically was almost impossible. I didn't want to eat. I didn't care if I ate. I was getting to the point it was just too much a struggle. And finally, at one point, I don't know if I keep going on this. I'm going to try. But finally, I got so bad that with me being so scared of going to medical doctors, I mean, I am petrified, or I was, I didn't want to go get help, even though I knew I needed to. And I had people telling me I should do this, do that, and, you know, take this potion, that potion, and I knew I needed to go. So on a Sunday afternoon, the pain in my scrotal area was getting so severe that I couldn't hardly stand it. And I asked my husband to take me to the emergency room. And we got there. The only way I could get in the car, and I couldn't even put on pants. Nothing I could put on. So I had to wrap a blanket around my waist. I could get a shirt on. I barely could reach to get socks on. I couldn't even get shoes on. There was no way. And so the only thing I could do is wrap this blanket around me. I mean, I had no other clothes on than the shirt. And I struggled to crawl in the back. To crawl in the back seat of my car, which hurt like hell. Any movement in my scrotal area I have never felt pain that bad. When we got to it was a walk-in emergency room. When we got there, they brought a wheelchair out, and I slowly got out, trying to hold the blanket there. They helped me into the wheelchair and then helped me onto one of the hospital gurneys. And I was just frightened. I didn't know what was happening. It felt like my life had ended. I was scared to death. I was scared I wasn't going to make it. I already felt like, you know, the dread and the not being able to breathe and not even being able to walk. I just felt like I wasn't going to make it. And I was scared. I'm sorry, I may not even be looking at the camera, I may be looking up, but this is tough. But they admitted me, they said I had congestive heart failure. Later I found out it was at a grade 4 on diastolic and a grade 1 on systolic, so it was pretty bad. They admitted me to the hospital, put me on IVs, put me on nitro, some other stuff, diuretics, because I had so much fluid buildup on me that my heart was struggling to work. If I would have went many more days like that, there's a very good chance I would not be alive. And there's a lot more that happened in the hospital, but I think that's enough for this moment. I think that's where I'll try and catch it up if this works out. Because honestly, I just don't have the strength and energy to go anymore right now. And I'll just pick up with that on my next one, where, you know, that I went in the hospital. So keep checking back. I don't know how often I'll do this yet, but I'm going to try and do it at least once a week, you know, and my whole purpose is to share what I've been through, what this is all about, so people understand more, because I'd never heard congestive heart failure, and I'll explain more about that as I go, but I've never, it's a hard thing to go through. So anyway, keep checking back and keep following me on here and on Twitter. I'm at Mind Body Thought. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, that's where I'm most active at. But until I do this again, my hope and prayers and thoughts go out to you. If you're struggling or you know somebody is, my heart goes out to you. Hang in there. It can get better, and you can make it. So thank you, and Talk to you next time.